when you're bleeding in your gums, it's a direct entry for pathogens to be able to actually enter your bloodstream. Hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of The Wellness Effect. Today, we're going to be talking about something that we're not experts on because we're not dentists, but something we feel very strongly about because we know the connection to the rest of your health, and that is our oral hygiene. And it's something that's definitely overlooked, I think, when we're looking at healing our gut, balancing our hormones, our fertility, or whatever that might be. And so we're going to just kind of dive into those connections that I just mentioned and how we can optimize our oral hygiene and how it will probably optimize the rest of our health as well. So before we get into it, you guys know what time it is. Who
It's
wants to start
weekend
first?
Weekend
recap
update.
time. I'll go
We need
first.
like a little jingle.
I
I
know, I was
know.
just thinking that. Like, dun, 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 weekend update.
No, but seriously, we'll have to think of something for you guys.
Yeah.
I'll go first because mine
Okay.
was exhilarating. No, I'm just kidding. It was very casual. My mother was here and we just hung out. We chilled. We went, did a little shopping. Actually, we had such a good day on Saturday. I had donated some of my clothes, so that was productive because we're slowly but surely getting rid of stuff, which feels nice as we prepare for the move across the country or the world, I mean. So we did that, and then we went for a little hike. That was like an hour, and we went to Turtle Pond and seen some turtles. And then we did a little shopping and then went to the health food store and bought a whole bunch of like pre-made salads and healthy stuff. And then we made dinner at home. So it was really nice. It was a good day. And then Sunday, my mom left, and then Zach also left to go to Alberta. And it was the first day I've been alone in so long. Like, I just kept telling everyone my emotion or my social battery is so drained from these last like month and a half of summer was just one thing after that next, and traveling and people staying at my house and visiting and birthdays and dinners, and it was just a lot, and it was just one thing after the other. And then Sunday, I just got time to just do nothing. So it was really, really nice. And I've been enjoying this week because Zach's still gone all by myself, except for now Zach's friend is coming to stay with me for the next 2 nights. I'm like, well, I can't tell him no because he knows I'm here by myself in a huge house. I'm like, I really just wanted 2 more days alone, but it's fine. It's
Why don't you
fine.
just say like you're super busy with work and then just lock yourself in your bedroom and like
Well, I can, but like he
it's
also
fine.
is an online coach and just understands
No.
the concept. So he's not bad. He's totally fine. He's great, but it's just kind of funny. I was like, "Are you kidding me?" But then we're going to Morgan Wallen this weekend in Edmonton, so I'm so excited. And
Fun.
it's at the Commonwealth. I think that's what it's called, like the outdoor
Oh,
Yeah.
stadium.
cool.
So never been to a concert there, so I'm excited. So that'll be good. So I'm gonna fly out there on tomorrow night, and then we'll stay Friday, Saturday with Zach's brother, and then I'll drive home with Zach on Sunday. So
Wow, it's gonna be such a good concert.
I
You've
can't.
already
Yeah,
been, right?
yeah. I went to in
In
Vancouver, and
Vancouver.
it was the best concert I've ever been to. But there's just something different about concert because I obviously usually do more like music fests or raves, but there's something that what I like about concerts is that you can see everyone because of the way that the like stadium is set up, right? You can see everyone in their chairs. Where at music festival and raves, you're almost everyone's like on the floor pretty much. So
Mhm.
you can't see or conceptualize how many people are there. And so I just find
Yeah.
like the energy is so different in concerts because you can like see absolutely everything. And yeah, that show that when I went to Morgan Wallen last time, like 2 years ago, it was literally just the best concert I've ever been to. So I'm really excited. And it'll be interesting though, because that's a big stadium. So I'm excited to see if it's like the sound quality is good and if it's as
Yeah, I've
good
Yeah,
as
never
it
heard
that'll
was.
anything
be
about it being bad.
Yeah.
So
No, I'm excited. And he's got like I think Miranda Lambert is opening for
shut
him
up.
and some other big I think
Brooks and
that's who it
Dunn.
is.
I'm
Pardon?
pretty sure it's Brooks and Dunn.
Yeah, someone else is like really good. I was like, "Oh, I would have went to
I
like
didn't know
their
it was Miranda
concerts."
Lambert. She's like my bucket list.
No, maybe I'm gonna look it up when you're talking about your weekend recap. But but is there who's like the new girl that's kind of like
Oh, Megan Maroney.
yes, I think it's her.
If it was Megan Maroney, oh my god, I also am obsessed with
I
her.
think
And
it's
then there's
her.
also that girl, frick, what's her name? I don't know.
I don't
Lainey
know.
Wilson is another person that comes
Yeah,
to my
no, I
mind.
don't think it's her. I think it's Megan Maroney because I think Miranda Lambert sounds, like, too old. Because I remember when I found out who it was, I was like, "Oh my god, I know who that is, and I wanna see her." So, I'm gonna look it up right now,
Oh.
and I'll let you guys know, but yeah, so I'm
Well,
excited, but
fun. And also, I feel like your threshold for your social battery running out is far higher than mine is because you tell me about your plans, and I'm like, I would seriously
Yeah, same.
crawl into a ball and like be an evil little like rat in the corner if that's what I had to deal with. But you lasted all summer long plus more, so good job.
I know, I do feel like I'm doing a good job. It's just so funny how you start getting in your head too, and you're like, "I just need alone time," and then I'm, like, sitting there yesterday, I'm like, "I'm bored."
I have
Like,
nothing to do.
Oh,
Yeah, I know.
nothing to do. But I just like time to get bored. Like, because I have ADHD and I, like, put things off and I procrastinate, and so when I don't have any bored time, all of those things never get done. So I need remember my open loop days I used to talk about all the time? That's
Yeah.
what I needed, was, like, I need a day to do a brain dump and then do everything that's in that brain dump.
Yeah.
And that's
yeah.
why I start getting like, "Ugh, I need to stop hanging out with people so much," because you're just, like, going from one thing to the
Yeah, it's
next, but
more just like anxiety that Brett gets like that. And he's like all of a sudden so on edge. And I'm like, you need to make a list of all the shit that's going through your head and then just start checking it off because I can tell you're getting
Well, and I
wound
just feel
up
like
about
for
it.
work for me too is like I know I'm not focused as much as I would be if I were to be like alone at home and then I start getting anxious about that and it's just too much of it. I'm just like and it depends who I'm with also. There's some people I could be with for so long and it wouldn't even like cross my mind, but
Yeah.
when it's like forced interaction, I'm just like I'm going to freaking
yeah.
lose my
I
mind
am
here.
lucky because there's most people I don't have to, like, pretend to be someone I'm not in front of. I don't have to mask that much in front of my friends, so it's good. But yeah, no, it's been a journey. But after we go to Morgan Wallen this weekend, then I have nothing until October 18th. So I have almost a full month, and Zach is gone hunting for 2 weeks. So it'll be a lot of time to be bored and to do nothing. And also, Jensen, I was going to invite you here, but we can have that conversation off.
I know I was literally just about to say,
Yes,
interesting.
come on down, fill my house.
Yay, okay. Well,
Yeah.
we'll talk later about that.
Okay.
Kira, you went to a wedding?
Oh, I thought you were gonna say, "Do you wanna come?" But, never mind. Yeah, I did go to a wedding.
I would invite you, but I don't know if you want to come with that frickin' 30-pound weight on your
I don't think
belly.
I would even be allowed to fly at this point.
Yeah, I was gonna
I
say.
don't know, whatever. But no, I don't wanna come, sorry. I mean, I would love to. Okay, what yeah, Brett was in a wedding on the weekend, so that was fun. His family's, like, really huge, so we got to see, like, lots of his aunties, and it's just, like, nice to be, like, pregnant and around family, like, it's he's like, "I don't" not because kids couldn't come to this wedding, so it was a little bit of a rigmarole to get, like, Ellie a babysitter for the ceremony, and then we went back and got her and hung out with her for a couple hours, then we took her to a different babysitter for the, like, evening party, and Brett was, like, setting up all weekend and taking down, so he's like, "I don't know why you came." I'm like, "I wanna go to a wedding, like, I wanna get dressed up and look cute and have people, like, rub my belly and whatever, talk about it." So that was super fun, and Brett looked so good in his fancy suit. They got, like, custom suits made, which he's never had, and it was like
His suit did look really good. I love the colors of it.
yeah, it was nice. It was fucking expensive. So I was glad that it were all worked out. And what else? That's pretty much oh my god, I had so much stuff to talk about, and I'm just, like, drawing a blank. I'm just oh,
Yeah,
I
what
know
were
what I
we just saying?
You guys were talking about something when I
oh, the
came on.
grounding sheets that Brett bought. Brett bought these grounding sheets because Jensen posted a picture of her, like, new bedding, and it just looked, like, so pretty and aesthetic, and it's, like, neutral colors, and it looks so good. And I was like, "Yes, I want new bedding so bad." And Brett bought this grounding sheet, which I was like, "Oh my god, I'm so proud of you." Like, just on his own, looked it up and bought a grounding sheet, and it comes in
Cool.
the mail, and it's, like, lime green, and I'm like,
I
"Oh."
knew that's where that was
Like,
going.
this is not.
But But it's
what I
cute
want.
because he was probably trying because he knows you like green, but he
Yes.
just got lime
Yes,
greens.
and it said sage, like, it says sage on it, but it's, like, bad
Not
sage, so it's so ugly, but it's just the bottom sheet, so I guess it doesn't really matter, but it's just funny that it just
so
was all
funny.
funny. But yeah, there was one other thing I wanted to talk about. I think it's just, like, being it's like the my mindset right now is so weird because, like, when I look at myself, I feel really good, I feel like I look really great, like, my body has handled this pregnancy so much better than I did with Ellie. I've, like, gained a normal amount of weight, and like, with Ellie, I really struggled to eat, so I didn't really gain a lot of weight, and I don't know, I'm just like, I know when I look at myself, I'm like, "I look good in this pregnancy, I feel really confident in my body," but people are really starting to comment on my size, and it's crazy how, like, how much it fucks with you. Because even I'm like, "Oh my god," like, when I look in the mirror, I laugh out loud because 'cause I'm like, "This is crazy." But then if
That
some
video you posted on Instagram when you were wearing that crop top,
I know.
it was so
It's not a
cute.
crop top.
I know
It's
when you pulled it
crazy.
down, I was like, "Oh, it's actually not." I thought you were just, like, embracing your inner Kirsten Mark for a
Yeah, I
day or
was.
something.
I always think of her, and then I'm like, "No, I can't." But just like how, like, one of Red's aunties at the wedding was like, "Kira," like, it's actually comical to look at you, it's just, like, hilarious because I had a really flowy dress on, so it, like, really, like, ballooned out over my belly, and it just looks gigantic, but I don't know, like, it's still messing with me, and it's really weird because 'cause I'm just not that person.
Okay, I
S
would
it's
love to
like
talk about that a little bit because I'm always so confused when people are like, "Oh my god, it's, like, messing with my head," because I hear that from clients and I've heard it from, like, friends, and I'm always like and I don't know, I haven't been through it, but I'm like, "You're growing a baby, like, seriously, what do you expect? Like,
I know.
you're gonna be bigger." But clearly it happens to so many people, like, I hear it from so many people how much of, like, a mind F it is, and is it more, like, in the moment, or is it, like, what's to come after? Why do you think that is?
Yeah, I'm trying to think because like, I was at the gym yesterday, and someone was like, "How much longer do you have left?" And I was like, "8 weeks." They're like, "Oh, that long?" And I'm like, "Why? Because 'Cause I'm gonna be fucking twice this size in another 8 weeks. It's a I don't know. I don't know how to explain it because 'cause I'm just not that person at all, and like I said, I say these things to myself. I know that it's like, my belly looks hilarious. I can't even stand up, like, I'm, like, like, putting Ellie's shoes on, I'm like, "Fuck, I gotta sit down for this." So I understand, like, all of it in my body, but I think it's just straight up, people feel totally fine, strangers, commenting on your body, and, like, at no other point in my life has anyone ever really commented on my body unless I was pregnant,
Mhm.
so I think that's more what it is, it's like, I literally feel like a piece of prey, like a like animal that people are just like you can feel people staring at you even when me and Brett were in the city together. He's like, "People give you crazy looks." Like, everyone's just staring at you, and I'm like, "Okay, I get it." Like, I don't know, it's hard to explain,
So interesting.
but it's
Yeah, because I
weird.
would say it is probably just more of, like, a nervous system response, like a trigger, and then you're like you know what I mean, when someone comments or just says that about you, but it is interesting hearing it from you because I feel like and maybe it's just you haven't talked about it much, but you always had like, you never really struggled with
No,
Body
body image, and
image.
you've always just been, like, a normal size, so people have probably never commented on your body ever. So maybe
well,
that's
and I
even why
feel
it's,
like
like, a weird
I'm
thing.
kind of just an average person all around, so I don't get, like, stared at all the time, and now it's like to suddenly be every range of person is staring at me, and I'm just like, "Am I gonna get eaten? Like, what's happening?"
But it's
That's
also
so
weird because a part of
interesting.
you likes it, right? You wanted to go to the wedding and get
Yeah,
fondled.
but that's, like, family, and I'm
Fondled.
comfortable. Yeah, I know,
Yeah, it's
that's
not
true,
strangers.
No, that's right. Yeah, no,
it's
it's that it
so
is interesting though to think about it.
and I'm, like, so grateful to like, I wanted a baby more than anything, and it's, like, to be growing and to see your body growing and, like, knowing that this is when they, like, develop their lungs, we want them to stay in there and get bigger and bigger, like, then there's just this completely irrational part of me that's just like, I'm huge."
Yeah, because I feel like you have such, like, a healthy, like, looking
I
bump,
do,
you know what I mean? Like, it's just, like, it looks so, like, healthy and you look so, like, cute and, like, when
And I
people are
will
commenting
say your face hasn't changed at all, which is
yeah.
rare. I feel like people's face always gets, like, puffy and But, like, right now, you don't even look pregnant.
Yeah, you don't, but it's just, like, it's so interesting that
Minerals, it's minerals.
yeah, it's minerals and detox and
Yeah.
Just
inflammation, but
everything we preach.
Yeah, just
it's
it's good
interesting though,
sleep.
Here's our
Kira.
walking billboard.
It is. It's just been weird to, like, notice, and I'm like, "Huh, I wonder what," and I want people to notice I'm pregnant, like, I'm wearing tight shit, and then I'm, like, annoyed that they're, like, noticing. It's very, very weird.
That is
So I'm
weird.
just trying to, like, think about it and figure out what's going on, but I can't, so
Not to, like, totally make it about myself, but
no,
I
I love
feel like how I'm comparing it, the way you're talking about it is how people would tell like, randoms come up to me and, like, talk about how tall I am, especially when I'm
Mm,
young, you know what I mean? Like, it's like they're coming from a good place and they're, like, not trying to be offensive, but I was always so offended by it and annoyed by it when I was young. So I just feel like it's kinda like that. It's just people, like, putting their opinion on
they're
you when it's
just
like you're not asking for it and you don't
but,
know
like,
them.
I love small talk, and I wanna, like, chit chat with people at the gym and, like, the grocery store, like, it's just I don't know, it's weird. It's really
So
weird.
interesting.
Yeah. So I'll if I figure that out, I guess I'll report back to you guys.
Let us
'Cause the
know.
body image component of it, it makes sense. If people have struggled with body image, like, I do get that. That makes a little bit more sense, but it's just
Yeah.
interesting
Well,
hearing
because
it
it's
from
like
you.
you think you look fat and big, and then someone says that, and then that reinforces your own belief. But if you didn't think that at all, you would just laugh or it wouldn't bother you. Like anytime you
Mhm.
get or it's
I
like
guess that's
you
true.
were tall and you hated it, and so when people commented on it, you're like,
But
Screw
ew.
you. Whereas now when people comment on it, I'm like, "Yeah, I am tall.
"Yeah,
Mhm.
and I'm a model."
I can be a
Jealous.
model, yeah. 5'9". Heard about it? You wanna see the view from up here?"
Okay, one other thing,
Anyways.
the speeches at this wedding were so funny, and, like, Brett's one uncle, so his dad's brother, like, the father of the groom said his speech, and everyone's like, "Oh, how many words is he gonna say?" Because he's, like, the quietest human you've ever met in your entire life, and he just ended his speech, like, welcoming the bride to the family. He's just like, "Yeah, we'll make it work." And we were just all night, everyone was like, we'll make it work, we'll make it work." It
Aw.
was so funny. Jeb, what have you been up to?
I've just been last week well, it was the first weekend that Matt was gone. So, I feel like I've been doing pretty good, like, just been working, distracting myself, all that good stuff. But something I actually did wanna talk about, I find it interesting because I was noticing so many parallels. Because the last time I was alone was when I went through my breakup, and it was just so different, and I found, like, at the beginning, even though it's still pretty early on, I, like, felt like I was, like, not actually having PTSD because it's not that serious, but, like, having those, that's what my body felt like was going on, like, I was, like, going through a breakup and, like, it was just, like, really weird and interesting to kind of, like, notice that, but comparing it to that time, it's just, like, so funny how I'm, like, really trying to, like, lean into, like, just, like, a slow, nice nighttime routine and, like, a slow and, like, taking advantage of this time that I'm, like, having alone, and I'm, like, really, like, leaning into those things that I don't typically get when you have a partner because it is interesting, like, when you're living with your partner, like, there are things that just kind of take a little bit of a back seat, whether it's, like, a slow nighttime routine or whatever that might be, so I'm just kinda, like, have been really leaning into that, and when I went through my breakup, what my way of coping was smoking weed every single night, and I
I
haven't
was
been
just gonna
doing
say, smoking weed.
Yeah, literally, like, that was and, like, you don't deal with any emotions, and at the time, like, that's what worked because I couldn't deal with those emotions, and now I'm, like, haven't done that at all, and I feel so much better dealing with it that way, and I feel like I'm actually just, like, really, like, acknowledging these emotions and working through them, so it's been kinda, like, cool to do that, but this weekend, it was pretty chill. I, like, worked a little bit, and then I met up with a friend for brunch in the city, and that's kind of it, really. Like, I'm trying to make myself, because 'cause I'm definitely more of an introvert, like, I'm trying to make myself see one person a week. So, whatever that might look like, and I'm trying to, like, not say I made, like, an Instagram post, and someone was like and I was like, "Give me your advice, like, if you've made it through distance, like, what worked for you?" And someone actually said something I actually really liked it. Some things were a little bit odd, but she was like be that friend that, like, says yes to everything and, like, can, like, do the things if anyone ever needs to, like, hang out with them, and I actually really like that because same thing when you're in a relationship, you can't be that, or when you're living with your partner, I should say, you can't necessarily, like, always be that person, and for me, I just, like, love hanging out with Matt, like, that's, like, my favorite thing to do is just hang out with Matt, so why would I, like, hang out with friends if I'd rather just hang out with Matt? And so I'm, like, forcing myself to do that, which I'm think will be good
Just forcing
overall.
yourself to hang out
I
with all
shouldn't
your
say force
shitty friends.
myself, but I'm like, I'm really trying to put myself out there because I am more introverted. I honestly, I
Yeah.
love being alone. Like, I could be alone a lot. I'm not saying I don't feel good after I hang out with people because I always feel better after I do, but, like, it is always, like, okay, I could, like, be alone and, like, watch my show and, like, take the dog for a walk and work out and do my routine, or I could, like, mess up my routine and, like, go see a friend, but I always feel so good afterwards, so I'm just always trying to, like, I'm really trying to, like, cultivate that, hopefully, and so,
Cultivate
yeah.
connection. You need that.
Connection, I do need that, and, like, I always get mad at my mom because my mom's like, "No, my dad, like, your dad's my friend, like, I don't need to, like, hang out with any other people." I'm like, "Yes, you do, mom, like, you need that." So I'm like, I cannot turn, not to be, like, rude, I can't turn into my mom and just be like, "I don't need any friends, I just need," because that just never goes well. So, that's kind of where I'm at, but it's been good, it's been an adjustment for sure, but
Yeah.
so, yeah, let's dive into it, shall we?
Yeah, I'm excited for this topic. I think just when I was, like, looking into some stuff and about the oral microbiome, and the one thing that I really wanted to, like, throw in here at the beginning is, like, when you think about it from our mouth to our, like, you think of your digestive tract, we all just think it's, like, our gut, it's our intestines and our stomach and whatever, but it actually starts in your mouth and goes all the way to your butt, and there's actually no, it's completely open. It's technically, like, the outside of your body all the way through your mouth, your throat, your stomach and intestines, and then, like, out your butt. Isn't that wild? That's just one
So
hole?
crazy, yeah, I
And, like,
know.
when we learned about it in school, it's technically still, like, outside your body when you, like, swallow it, like, it hasn't really gone into your, like, I mean, I know that it's in you now, but, like, it hasn't absorbed into your body, it's like a big hole, like a hose that just runs from your mouth, like, that just blows my mind for some reason.
I know.
Yeah, and when we look at and, like, when we're trying to fix things, even, like, from a functional perspective, like, as much as, like, functional and integrative, like, nutrition and, like, that approach tries to look at it from a whole, we're still a lot of the times we're, like, just dealing with our gut, you know what I mean? And we're not thinking about the fact that we're swallowing these, whether it's, like, parasites or infections or whatever it might be, and they're going through to our GI system. And so if we are trying to heal our gut and we're not seeing any success, a lot of the times we're not thinking, okay, well, are we looking into our oral microbiome at all? And so, yeah, we'll kind of obviously dive into that.
And I think before we dive into it, I wanna tell my story about my mouth during, like, my gut
Yeah.
worst health, and then Kira, I think you should share a little bit too about just, like, your
Yes.
last pregnancy and stuff,
Yes.
because you don't think about it like Jensen said, right? We just focus on gut, we don't really realize that it starts in our mouth, but when I was, like, peak autoimmune disease, no period, bodybuilder, super stressed out internally, externally, just an absolute mess, that was also when my mouth or oral hygiene was also at its worst, and I never realized the connection until, like, 2 or 3 years later when I started learning about gut health and our connection to our mouth, but I remember I started getting, it was almost like looked like plaque buildup, and I don't even know if that's what it was, but it was, like, on my bottom teeth, like, right on my line, like where my gum line, I guess, and it was just the front 2 teeth, and so, naturally, what I would do is I would just, like, go in there so hard with a toothbrush trying to get rid of, like, what I thought was plaque, and I don't think it was plaque, I still don't even really know what it was, but it was just, like, an infection, I'm assuming, and so I just
Oh.
kept doing that, and then it was during COVID, and so, 1, I got in my head and I was, like, embarrassed, and I didn't wanna go to the dentist because I had, like, these crazy plaque buildup at the bottom of my teeth, so I was like, "I don't wanna go until it's gone," and so I just kept doing that, and then COVID happened, so you couldn't go to a dentist for a long time, and then I ended up moving to Kelowna, so I, like, lost my past dentist, and it just kept getting worse and getting worse and getting worse. And then finally, I, like, made a Zoom appointment with the dentist, and I, like, showed him, and he's like, "Oh, that's fine. That's just a little, like" I think it's periodontis? I can't even remember what it's called, but anyways, and then I had to go and they cleaned me all up, and then I ended up getting a skin graft on my gums because I had brushed that area so much and so hard that my, like, gums
Wow.
were receding, and so then I had to get, like, that skin graft over it, but it's just crazy because now I look at it and I'm like, "That was 100%, like, all connected," and people just have no idea that it was, and then still, like, after that, my, like, first 6 appointments at the doctor's, I'd have, like, a new cavity every single week or every single time I went, and it's like I always ate clean. I wasn't eating a whole bunch of sugar, and I wasn't not brushing my teeth, like, it was just my oral hygiene was so bad, so, anyways, that's a little story time to just get you guys more hooked into the podcast. But, Kira, I think
Well,
you should share yours too because it's just wild.
Yeah, and mine's,
yeah,
like,
and
even,
I just wanna say one
go
thing. I remember when you were going through that, Lacey, like, even then, it was just like, "Oh, you're just you're something's going on with your teeth," you know? Like, no one's ever like, "Well, why is this happening?" And I'm sure that will relate to Kira and even, with what I've kinda noticed as we've gone on this journey, but go ahead, Kira, sorry.
Yeah, and, like, mine even I think what Lacey was talking about was my pregnancy because 'cause I've been talking a lot about that, so I'll get into it, but mine, like, started even before that, and now that I know what I know about oral health, even with, like I sucked my thumb as a kid until I was probably, like, I don't know, what do you think, Lace, like 10? I can't remember.
Yeah, like 10 at least, I think, but it's hard to, like, remember.
So I
I had
have
a
a
friend that
really,
did the same
like,
thing.
narrow palate because I, like, pushed it up so high, so that's, like, a whole other thing, like, airway, but, and then I had a lot of dental work, like, I had headgear. I don't think I've ever said that on here, I don't know why it just, like, suddenly makes me feel self-conscious, but I had headgear, braces, spacers, retainers, like, you name it, I still have the metal bar across my teeth, so I've just always had to, like, go to the dentist, like, a lot, and I just thought that was normal. I'd get cleanings every 4 months, I always had a ton of plaque buildup, and they kinda just told me that, like, genetically, your saliva will either be the type that, like, builds up plaque, which is nice because you actually get less cavities apparently that way, or you have saliva where your pH kinda contributes to cavities more. So you either get plaque or cavities, and you just get plaque, and that's how it goes, and there's nothing you can do about it. You just have to get, like, these intense scaling treatments done every 4 months. You're gonna have really sensitive gums. My gums are all starting to recede, like, on the front, kinda like what Lacey said. They would measure it every time, and they would be, like, moving down a little bit further every time, but it was
And it
basically
hurts
just
so much to get them measured. I don't know if
oh,
they
I
hurt
don't
for you. I had to get it done when I went to a new dentist, and it's, so painful. But maybe
well,
he
my
was doing
girl
a
does it
different
every
thing.
time, and it doesn't hurt at all. Hers is, like, I think a Wi-Fi stick, and she just, like, "Doot, doot, doot."
I don't
I
know,
don't
mine's
feel
like a
it.
freaking metal rod that he's, pushing down my gums, it's
Oh my god.
so yeah.
So yeah, it was just like, "This is my life, this is normal," and I never really, like even looking back on, like, all the healing protocols and testing and gut health that I did, I never focused, like, intentionally on my oral health. I did a little bit, like, we'll talk about the tips and tricks that we all do now, and I definitely started incorporating that. But what I've noticed in the last 3 years, and I just talked about this on my Instagram story. So, number 1, my pregnancy with Ellie, which she's gonna be 4 in, like, a month, which is crazy. So, over 4 years ago when I was pregnant with her, my teeth were just I was in excruciating pain with my teeth almost my entire pregnancy. I was in and out of the dentist. I ended up having to get x-rays while I was pregnant, which they, like, really don't like to do unless it's really bad. I had to get I got a cavity filled, and then they ended up just pulling the tooth. I was, like, crying in the shower with headaches all the time. Like, I could tell that the headaches were coming from my
Yeah.
teeth, and I'm just like, "These are my teeth are rotting out of my head. Like, what the fuck is going on?" So since Ellie, I've done a lot of, like, functional testing and work on my gut, and in our program too, when our clients are working on their gut, if we see specific bacteria, we're also addressing oral health in some ways. And so I did a few things, and then, like, I've noticed over the last year that everything has improved with my oral health, and it's just, like, flashing back for me to when they're like, "It's genetics, it's all genetic, it's all genetic," like, "Your dad has it, your mom" like, whatever it is. And so now I literally just went, like, 2 weeks ago, I'm 32 weeks pregnant, I haven't had one issue this pregnancy. My gums are, like, actually regenerating, which they kinda told me that wouldn't happen, couldn't happen. My plaque is, like, basically non-existent. I used to have to get, like, over an hour of scaling, which is, like, intense scraping of your gums, and now there's a little bit to clean up around my wires, and, like, that's it. She's like, "Wow, this is actually, like, your mouth is looking great, everything's looking," and comparing it to my last pregnancy when it was literally hell, like, my gums were, like, dark red and, like, looked swollen, and to have it be, like, so different in this pregnancy, to me, it's just, like, I don't wanna use the word, like, pat on the back, but it's, like, it just shows how connected everything is and how, like,
Yeah.
I honestly think it's, like, a mineral thing. And, like, just by supporting our minerals and, making sure, like, I had that calcium shell, which is where calcium is leached from the bones and the teeth and into our soft tissues. So, like, that's gonna impact everything, and just even having the minerals on board to set you up for a good, like, pH in your mouth is really important, and it's just cool because I never did anything like, "Oh my god, I gotta, like, kill off all the bugs in my mouth and da 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 da." I was like, "No, I just took care of my body and my mouth kind of followed suit." So, yeah, it's been a journey, but I think you can't deny that. Like, my plaque is gone and my gingivitis is gone and my gums aren't receding anymore. Like, that's not a
It's
lot of people
crazy.
have that happen. Yeah.
Yeah. And my story, and I've just kind of started to notice this too, and I've never had like crazy kind of things like that. I had like braces and kind of like the spacers and stuff like that when I was young too, and probably a result of like honestly mouth breathing. The more that I like read about it, how much it impacts your facial structure. And I don't know, who knows, some genetic stuff as well, but same thing. I used to have such sensitive teeth, and that happened in the last little bit. And, um, like, I'd say, like, probably, like, worst, same thing as Lacey, maybe, like, 5-ish years ago. I think that's kinda when you said, and lately, I've noticed that sensitivity, like, I'm not gonna be, like, biting, like, teeth first out of an ice cream cone, but, like, I don't notice it like I would before. Like, sometimes I would, like, breathe in when it was cold out, and, like, my teeth like, my whole body would, like, shiver because my teeth were so sensitive, and I haven't noticed that at all. So it's just once again interesting these things that we're talking about that we didn't even start our journey trying to fix. It wasn't the top of the priority list. And just naturally, it's one of those things you're like, oh, wow, I haven't dealt with that in so long. And it lines up exactly when I started focusing on my minerals, my gut health, all of that stuff.
Okay, and another one which I feel like I don't ever talk about, and I don't know if it's because I feel weird about it or not, but my, like, breath too. Like, I would brush my teeth, like, 4 times a day and, like, scrape my tongue, and I always had gum or a mint, and I was like, "What is going on?" And I don't know if it was because I had all that plaque. I didn't have, like, chronic terrible breath, but, like, I could taste it, like, quite often. I'd be like, like, this isn't great." And that's, like, completely gone now and went away. Like, I don't my mouth doesn't taste like I have a shit in it all day long, so that's been a
Yeah,
nice
that's the
benefit.
periodontist that I was thinking about, not what I had, because I have had friends that have that, and it's like, how do you tell them that your breath really is not good and you should probably go see the
They
dentist?
know.
But they always say if you wanna figure out if your breath stinks or not, do the water pick, and if you can't handle the taste, like, you'll be able to really smell and, like, taste it when you
Uh,
do the water
oh, and
pick,
even when
so
I would go to the dentist, I'd be like, "Thank God they're wearing a mask," because like, the smell that would come out when they were cleaning my plaque was, like, disgusting.
Really
Yeah.
interesting. Okay, well, I think we'll kind of start off with going into why it's important. I know we've kind of talked a little bit about just like our own personal stories and talked about why it's important as well. But I think the first thing is that we'll kind of talk about is like all these like just like annoying things that we have to deal with. I think that's like number one, like not having to deal with the bad breath, the sensitive teeth, like going to the dentist over and over again. Like that's really nice, I'm not gonna lie, because no one's, like, itching to go to the dentist all the time, but our oral microbiome and our gut microbiome have, like, a bi-directional relationship, so they, like, communicate with each other. If you have a bad gut microbiome, it's gonna impact your oral microbiome. If you have a bad oral microbiome, it's going to impact your gut microbiome. Say that 10 times fast. And so we really want to focus on like a balance of that like good and bad bacteria. And it's normal to have a little bit of bad bacteria, but what's happening is that bad bacteria is overpopulating. And like Kira said, it's impacting like our pH, it's impacting our minerals in our mouth, which can cause like lead to cavities and that like the bleeding gums. There's something called like leaky gums that we'll talk about as well, which is where like when you're bleeding in your gums, it's a direct entry for pathogens to be able to actually enter your bloodstream. And so we think when it happens, we're just like, and Lacey actually went on a little bit of a rant. We'll have to go back to that about how bleeding gums are really, really bad.
It's
But
an infection, remember? Because
yeah.
yeah, because I was not being a good girl with my flossing about, well, probably a year ago, and I went to the dentist, and for not flossing, I really didn't have that much blood, I will say. It was pretty good. But she just said, "Oh, yeah," and it was cool because I go to, like, an organic, holistic dentist because I had to go there to get my silver filling removed, and she was like, "Oh, yeah, your gums are bleeding, and just so you know that that's an infection and it's causing inflammation, and so if you focus on, like, flossing your teeth and getting the blood to stop, then you'll probably have more energy and you'll, like, sleep better and you won't feel so, like, lethargic." And I'm just like, "Whoa," like, that it was cool because I knew that, like, what an infection can cause and
Mhm.
what inflammation causes. I didn't know that your bleeding gums means you have an infection. She said that's what gingivitis is an infection of the
Yeah,
gums,
and
and
it's
that's the first sign is bleeding.
literally called leaky gums, and so it's like when, like, our gut, like, infections are leaking through it, it's similar to our gums, and so when we have that blood, not only is it an infection, now these pathogens are entering into our bloodstream, so it's like it's now systemic, like, these things are happening in our mouth, it's not just like, "Oh, I have an infection in my mouth," like, whatever." It's like, "No, this is impacting every single part of your body."
Yeah, and even when we're incorporating things like these crazy mouthwashes or even just like basic toothpaste that everybody's using, it's kind of similar to like antibiotics in the gut. If you're using an antiseptic mouthwash constantly every single day, yes, you're maybe killing some of those bad bugs, but you're also killing the good ones. And just like our gut has a biofilm, which maybe we should do a whole episode on biofilms. Our mouth has a biofilm, and those good bugs live in there as well as the bad ones. So we want to focus on ways of supporting the body to maintain the good bugs instead of just wiping everything out and then like what? Then what? Like tell me what to do after that because I don't really know. So you need to like support your body as a whole to have a good mouth microbiome just the same as your gut and things like regular mouthwash that a lot of people I can't even fucking believe that mouthwash is still, like, a product that's sold. It just pisses me off, it's so stupid. But anyway.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing is, and a lot of the information I was listening to a podcast and her name's Dr. Stacy Whitman. I really recommend like looking more into her too if you guys are curious. But she was saying what she notices in her practice is that people are over cleaning because that's what
Yeah.
we've been told. You need to like kill everything. And similar to what Kira was saying, like in that process, not you are maybe killing off some of the bad, but you're also killing off the good. And that's the same thing when we approach the gut health, our gut health, when we're doing a GI protocol with someone. Yes, there is a phase where we are killing off maybe some of the bad stuff if there are some infections there, but we're always repopulating it. And if we're constantly killing in our oral microbiome and not repopulating, like that's when we're going to have that pH, the cavities start to occur. Um, and so it's just really, really, and then like our saliva is just so, so important. And if our saliva isn't like protective, that's when we're going to notice a lot of different issues as well. And it's really interesting to me what this doctor was saying too, is she was saying like dentists can be the first people to notice when people have
Yeah.
like Crohn's or SIBO or whatever that might be because our gut or sorry, our mouth is just this like picture of
Gateway.
what our internal gateway to what our internal health looks like, which is just so interesting. So when you look at your tongue, you look at your gums, all of those kinds of things.
Yeah, like, if you have inflammation in your gums, like, there's no way there's none in the rest of your body. Like, it's like Jeb said, systemic and just, like, And even this is why I brought up that, like, hose or tube piece at the beginning of this because it's literally a straight shot, like, through your whole entire digestive tract, and it really does start in your mouth, so I think it's, like, something that's underrated and really overlooked by a lot of people. They just think, "Oh, look, I'm gonna work on my gut health. I'm gonna work on this. I'm gonna, like, eat right and whatever," but having, like, a really solid plan for your oral hygiene, I think is just so important. So cool.
Well, and even if you think about, like, literally every time you swallow, you're sending, I think, like, billions of bacteria, don't quote me on that, from your mouth to your gut. And so, if that bad bacteria or harmful bacteria dominates your mouth and you have those infections or the gum disease, then that's just what's repopulating your
Yeah.
gut.
You're constantly feeding it, like, with bad, even if you're killing off the stuff in the gut, like,
Yeah.
so it's so interesting.
Yeah.
Couple things that will kind of like that are related to, like, our overall, like, oral hygiene, our gum health. Alzheimer's, there's, like, a big link, mood disorders, I kinda talked about this a little bit at the beginning, but, like, our fertility, the health of the baby, our sleep is gonna be another big one. Obviously, our gut health and our digestive health are gonna be a big one too, like Kira has said, maybe it was Lacey, like, that's where digestion starts, is, like, our mouth. When we look at food, when we smell food, we start to produce saliva, and that saliva is gonna help with the, breakdown of our food, so on and so forth.
Yeah,
But
and even, like, triggering stomach acid, like, that all has to start basically in our mouth, so if you think about it, it's just this massive piece of the puzzle that's yeah, I feel like I just keep saying the same thing, it's just overlooked all the time.
But it's true, and if you're doing all these guts and if you're doing all these protocols for SIBO or you have H. pylori or whatever, and then you feel a little bit of relief and you feel a little bit better, but then they come back or your symptoms start coming back or whatever it is, it's because you most likely haven't paid any attention to your oral hygiene, which is the first place that bacteria is gonna go, so then it'll just keep repopulating that bacteria that caused SIBO or H. pylori or whatever it is, so
And I think it's important too, like, we don't wanna fear you're always gonna come into contact with these types of things, but it's why, like, it's so important to, like, have those foundations in place because once your minerals are really solid and your blood sugar is balanced and your stomach acid is really robust, you actually have a chance at, like and your gums are really healthy, like, a healthy strong body will be able to fight these things off. It shouldn't be like, I can't kiss anyone because they might have H. pylori, and like, I can't use that because it could give me like streptococcus. It's like, no, your body should be able, a healthy gut like barrier. Someone without leaky gut isn't going to have to worry about those things. So it's why we can't just like brush our teeth and oil pull and think that everything's going to be good. We have to be supporting the foundations. We have to be looking at our minerals and balancing our blood sugar and getting good sleep and moving our body and supporting drainage and detoxification, that's what makes these habits worthwhile. None of this is ever a band-aid that you can just like, "Oh, I'm gonna start taking care of my oral health and then everything's gonna be fine." It's why, like, for each of our stories, oh, we just started supporting our bodies well, and without even really noticing or paying much attention, our oral health dramatically improved. So I think that's just important to remember because it can get, like, scary, like, "So what, I
Mhm.
can never, like, kiss my partner again?" But, I mean, they should also be taking care of themselves in that same way, and then neither of you will have to worry about it.
Yeah, and I think another thing I was gonna just Lacey, you go because I know you're having to mute. Okay. Um, Another thing too that, like, tying it back, I think it would be the episode released before this, is the impact of, like, our stress, and like our nervous system. And so when we are really, really stressed, we have that cortisol imbalance, that cortisol release. That's when a lot of people, like, you'll notice you're like clenching your jaw. And that can also impact things in terms of like when we're clenching our teeth, that can like cause inflammation in the mouth and that can cause like tissue breakdown and bone breakdown. And with that being said, like when we're looking at our teeth and the health of our teeth and what's going on with our teeth, that's also a reflection of what's going on with our bones. Like our teeth are bones. And so if our teeth are degenerating like a place where cavities can develop and like bacteria can like develop, and maybe we have whatever might be going on in there. Like that's probably a reflection of what's also happening in our bones, but we just can't see it. And we see that a lot with our when we do HTMAs, when we look at someone that has like a calcium shell or really low calcium, we talk about these impacts that it has on our bones. And some people might even notice like bone pain or more like osteoporosis, but that's also probably happening with our teeth. So interesting.
It is interesting. I remember, when I didn't get my period for those 3 years, and this is another tie-in that I'm just cluing in now, and my mom was always like, "You need to ovulate, Lacey, not for just pregnancy, like, that's not the only reason you need to ovulate and have a period," pretty much just telling me that and that's what really, like, inspired me. I'm like, "Okay, I have to get my period back," because she said, like, "You'll get osteoporosis when you're older if you don't ovulate," which I was like, "That's interesting," but that's just because estrogen and progesterone do impact collagen production and bone health, and so it's just interesting to think about that now too, is like, yeah, not
Hmm.
only was my gut an absolute mess, but my hormones, my progesterone, like, if I wasn't ovulating, it was never getting that spike, like, who knows if I was probably estrogen dominant, I imagine, but I don't actually know, but yeah, it's just super interesting, and then also same with you, Kira, with the pregnancy, right? Like, that's when your hormones are changing a lot, and especially if they're not in a good place, then if you don't have healthy estrogen and progesterone ratio and levels, then it is gonna impact your bone health as well. So, it's just
Yeah. And even
interesting.
just those minerals, like it'd be interesting, Kira, and you're so great with Ellie that you might not even notice a difference. But when like we're passing down our minerals that we have to our babies, right? And so we need that like vitamin D, vitamin K2, calcium, all of that stuff for like healthy bone health, healthy teeth. And so let's say if you weren't, it would probably be a little bit more obvious. And then you started, and you weren't super diligent with Ellie, and then you started, let's say, like a year before this pregnancy. It would be interesting to see the changes between like Ellie's teeth if you weren't like focusing on them when she was young
Yeah.
versus like this second baby's teeth, and like if there would be like
Well, especially if you don't do any, like, replenishment in between pregnancies, which most
totally.
women don't, because 'cause we're not taught that at all. So it's probably just gonna get worse and worse for each kid, which is so sad, and then you're as a mom, your teeth are they're literally gonna leach the minerals from your teeth, which with every single pregnancy, if you're not supporting that, and, like, a prenatal does not cut it. A basic
Mhm.
superstore
Well, the
gummy
baby will just
prenatal.
take whatever it needs, and it doesn't
Yep,
matter if it's, like, there and available or it needs to go into your bones to get it,
yep.
like, it's gonna get it. So the mom will just get worse and worse and worse, like,
Yeah,
it's
and that's exactly what happened with my pregnancy with Ellie, like, that's what I said to Brett, I remember, I'm like, "It's like it's sucking the life out of my teeth," and that was exactly what was
It was
happening, which
literally
is
probably
wild.
calcium coming out of your teeth.
I think that's what it was now looking back. Oh god, it just, like, gives me the creeps, but, like, Ellie actually has great teeth, I think she got Brett's teeth, thank God, but a lot of it too is, like, those first few years, and I nursed for a really long time, which is really great for, like, the shape of the mouth and breathing and all of that, so I think she kinda
Interesting.
lucked out there. Um, yeah,
Well,
like
and like I said, you're so good with that, but if you weren't, and then she, like, came out, wasn't getting all this, like, good nutrient dense food,
yeah,
um, so on and so forth, and then it would be interesting to see
see what
what
would
that would
happen.
look like for her.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
some people just get lucky, like we said, like, if
she
they're
did.
pulling everything, like, they might just get everything and then they're fine. But
Yes.
then the mom, like in Kira's situation. So, that is super interesting. Another thing I wanna say, and I think we'll talk about this, I just don't wanna forget to say it, is, like, I actually had a girl that's in med school. I used to work with her, and obviously sometimes I'm a little vocal about, like, doctor's recommendations. And I really love this girl. She's actually just, like, super cool, but she messaged me and she was like, "We're actually, like, learning all of this stuff. Like, we're learning how much diet plays a role. We're learning how much stress plays a role." And she was like, "But the issue is there's, like, a socioeconomic component of things where some people, like, they can't give recommendations to some people to just eat healthier because they're not going to implement that, right?" And so And then they just end up giving that recommendation for everyone, and that's kinda what I said is, like, they're just kind of assuming no one can make those changes, I think, at a certain degree. But where I'm getting at with this is that I think dentists and more of that, like, general, not like the functional dentists that we are seeing pop up a little bit more, they kind of are doing the same thing in terms of recommendations, like, you need to come in, you need to get your cleaning, you need to use fluoride, you need to do all this stuff because that's what's gonna work for them because maybe they have been taught, like, we can't just assume people are gonna go and oil pull and, like, eat a lot of fruits and vegetables, and so it's just, like, interesting to consider that that's like, what could be going on?
Well, and, like, even my when I've because I've been thinking about this a lot lately because there's always like, there's not anyone that specializes in the body as a whole, right? Like, we have general practitioners, but they don't understand the link between absolutely everything. They just kinda learn a tiny bit, and it's just more general advice, right? But we have a dentist, we have a gynecologist, we have a guy that specializes in our brain, we have a guy that specializes in our bones, we have a
Mhm.
but there's no person that, like, specializes in everything, so people just focus on what they're focused on, and we're gonna fix that, which is why they just fix the symptom of the thing, and they're never like, "Oh, your oral hygiene is probably also why you have this and this and this, and we need to work on this as a whole." And so there's just very little people that I
Are
mean, unless
connecting it.
yeah, that are actually connecting the dots and, like, know enough about all of the systems and how they work together to, like, give sound advice. But I was also thinking about that the other day, Jensen, of because someone commented on one of my videos
Oh god.
that this is very privileged advice. Because I was just talking, I think, about a deodorant, or I can't even remember, but something about, like, making a swap, and then someone commented about that that was, like, a privileged advice, which obviously it is, and we're not talking to absolutely every single person out there, but it's like the privileged people still need advice. Like, it's like, I don't know what you want me to say to that, but
Well, and I think there's that, and I think also it's like, there's no harm in, like, telling the people that maybe they're not ready or they're not in the place to, like, buy the fricking $17 toothpaste and buy all organic, like, there's just so much, like, nuance to it, which sucks. Like, I was with reading that Good Energy book, she's so, like, "You need to buy all organic, you buy one vegetable that's not organic, you're" like, she's so intense, and, like, I was reading the reviews on the book, and everyone was like, "This is bullshit," and I'm like, I see why people think it's bullshit, but she's talking in such absolutes, and there are nuance to it, like, if you're not eating any vegetables, just start eating vegetables, but I know we're going off in a little bit of a side tangent, but the thing is that it's the same thing when it comes to our oral health is like, we're just telling you what the optimal is, and I think dentists are just telling you based on, like they're just assuming that you're not gonna go home and do the thing, so you need to come every 4 months for your checkup, and you need to do the fluoride because that's what's gonna help, right? Anyways, interesting. We are gonna talk a little bit about fluoride.
Oh, I was gonna say, are we gonna go there? Are we gonna do it today?
But that's kinda why I wanted to transition is because, like, once again, like, we're not dentists, but I think we need to do our own research and take it into our own hand because this is what dentists are being taught, but so, obviously, we're told to use fluoride. Like, we get the fluoride trays when we go to the dentist, and fluoride isn't actually in this podcast I listened to, she said this, like, it's not FDA approved for cavities, it's just what they use. It is FDA approved for, like, sensitivity.
In
Um,
drinking water.
yeah, and, like,
Just kidding.
that's no, that's the thing is, like, all of these things are for topical. It's not when it's in our drinking water, it is systemic. And so I have a friend, I love her to death, and she's a dental hygienist. And literally, I was there over the summer, and she was like, "No, don't get a water filter. Don't. I know Jensen won't agree with me, but don't get a water filter. We need the fluoride."
Woo.
And I went, I don't agree with you, but, like, whatever, that's fine, like, that's always what she's, like, believed so much, but there are so many studies that and that's just what she's taught, you know, like, that's what I'm saying is she cares so much about people's teeth. You talk to her, it's not like
Yeah.
she's like, "I don't give a shit," like, it's literally her passion. She loves her job, she loves, like, her job so much and, like, helping people, but that's just what she's been taught, but when you dig deeper, like, there are so many studies that have come out about, A, the negative impacts of fluoride, and it's up to us to kind of make that decision on our own. And also the difference between topical fluoride versus drinking fluoride. And there's been a lot of studies that have come out that say drinking fluoride has no positive impacts on our teeth. It's the topical fluoride that does have those impacts that we can get from other areas as well. So it's just
Yeah, and I think
interesting.
it's just like if there's something out there that kind of does a similar thing, and it's so funny because literally just like taking care of your health at a basic level will improve your teeth probably more than fluoride treatments will, which is kind of hilarious. But I don't remember at all where I was going with this. I think like what Jeb said, you just kind of have to look at it. This is like anything. You have to look at it. Is it worth it for you at this point to stress about fluoride? But it's just crazy that like a pea-sized amount, if you swallow it, of like most toothpastes with the fluoride in it, and it says right on the back to call poison control. And, like, I don't know how anyone's getting their kid not to swallow a pea-sized amount of their toothpaste every single day. So there's just no way that I'm taking that chance personally. But if you
Especially
have
for kids, like,
yes, that's
that swallow their toothpaste.
Ellie's never spit her toothpaste like, "Okay, now spit it out." She's like,
I
"What?"
know, I did that too when I was a kid. I
Like,
loved the
shit.
taste. I literally like, "Eh."
Yeah. It's, like, blue and sparkly and, like, it tastes like bubble gum, and you think I'm not gonna swallow it when I'm 2, 3, 4, 5,
Yeah.
6, 7, 8, 12 years old? Like, so, I don't know, and like Jeb said, there's a lot of studies on, like, it with thyroid health, fertility, brain function.
It's literally a neurotoxin, like,
It's a yeah, I mean, I just at this point, it feels lazy to me to be and like what we kinda talked about before, it's like the body isn't just these specific black holes that we can, like, just focus on our mouth and just put fluoride on our mouth and nothing's gonna happen. Like we've said, our gums are literally bi-directional with our gut, so there's not really any such thing as, like, a topical treatment only on our mouth because it's leaching right into our gums and straight into our bloodstream. That's
well,
just
and
happening.
yeah, it just goes to us, like, over cleaning our mouths, like, we want and we'll talk about this when, our routine, like, everyone is, like, overdoing it, like, when it comes to our oral hygiene, and, like, I think less is more. The same thing with our gut. We don't wanna just, like, kill everything off in our gut, right? And so, I think it's just another component to that, and I'm, like, first to admit, and I know Lacey and Kira are probably thinking this, like, and I don't think, like, if you're using it for certain like, I used it for my sensitivity because I had such sensitive teeth, and, like, it was something that, like, kept it at bay, right? But I think that now I'm, like, I've stopped using it, and I've noticed it improve, and that's completely anecdotal, but I'm doing all of these things. It's not because I stopped using Sensodyne that, like, I've noticed my, like, um, insensitivity improve. It's because 'cause I'm doing all the other things with it, and so I think that's just, like, something to think about is, like, I was always because I had this friend that, like, seriously felt so passionate about it. She, like, did her whole entire, like, study, like, whatever, on, like, how we need fluoride in our water, and I was like, "Okay, like, I believe you," like, but now looking back, I'm like, "Okay, like, there's other sides to the story, and the stuff they learn in school is to help the gen pop at the end of the
Yeah.
day," I think,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah. I think if anyone says, "Take this one thing and it'll solve blank problem," it's probably not doing what you think it's doing.
shiny object.
And, like, I think
Shiny
something too
object.
to, like, consider is, like, sometimes, like you said, it's okay to, like, have a Band-Aid for something. Like, if you're
Yeah.
like, "My teeth are just so sensitive, I'm in fucking school, I work full time, and I have kids, and, like, I just don't have the capacity to, like, remineralize my whole body and, like, switch all my shit." It's, like, okay to just take information in and let it, like, "Hmm, you know what? That kinda makes sense. I feel like something's off with this, but I'm not quite ready to shift and change it." Like, sometimes it takes years and years and years to, like, get there, and then eventually you're
Yeah.
like, "Okay, I have the capacity, everything else in my life is kinda dialed in, now maybe I'm gonna think about, remineralizing my body so I can get off of my fluoride toothpaste," or whatever.
We've talked about that before, like, you just need to be ready for these changes, whatever they look like, and that might not be tomorrow, and it doesn't need to be tomorrow. It might be in a year from now, you just, like, think about something you read and you're like, "Okay, like, I think I have the capacity to kinda, like, make that change, make that substitution because it doesn't need to be overnight."
Yeah, because it really is, like in my opinion, it's like a medicine. Like fluoride is like what you take when you have a headache or like when you, I don't know, whatever, birth control. It's like something that we're taking to just mask some symptoms. It's not like, I guess it does kind of apparently do some remineralization. But anyway, that's besides the
Yeah.
point.
I
You're not
really
going to
hope
catch it
my
in my house. That's all I'm
yeah.
going to say.
I really hope my hygiene friend doesn't listen to this episode.
Sorry.
I love you so much if you do, but I know you won't, so it's fine.
She'll be like, I'm going to pass on that
Yeah.
episode. I know.
Seriously, I'm gonna have to, like, message her and be like, "I just wouldn't listen to that if I were you." Lacey, any notes? She's muted in the corner, she's on timeout today.
And it's actually makes it harder for me because I'm definitely a listener by trade, and so when I have to think, "Okay, unmute and then say your thing," I'm like, "Well, I'll just let them keep talking," so it's definitely not a good strategy for me, so because 'cause I'll just go into the corner here, but no, honestly, what I'm thinking about is Zach has really sensitive teeth, and I've just let him use Sensodyne, and I really gotta start putting my foot down because he just uses it because his teeth are so sensitive, but
Same with Brett.
Same with Matt. I was
so
like,
maybe
"Matt, start using this toothpaste with me." He's like, "How much is it?" I was like, $17. He's like, "Nope." I'm like, "Okay, that's fine."
oh, I just bought I don't know if you guys seen on my Spend a Morning and Me with Me reel, but I bought that, like it's like remineralizing toothpaste, and it's a powder. Did you see it?
I saw
I
that. It did
Yeah.
worry me that you were dipping your toothbrush in there every day.
I know, that's what you're supposed to do, that's what I was
Oh,
thinking too, that it did that, but yeah, I was gonna just
it's fine.
because that's what I thought of after. I'm like, "This is weird," but it literally says, like, "Water, dip,"
Oh,
but I don't know what else how you would get it on there, but maybe I just put it
tap a little bit out, I guess, but then you'd be wasting some probably every time.
yeah,
Oh,
and it
well,
ain't
you're
cheap,
fine.
but
You're
it's
fine.
weird because it doesn't have that like, it doesn't really make you feel like your teeth are clean when you're cleaning them, but then when you spit it out and then my teeth do feel clean after, but it doesn't have that, like, suds, which you don't
Yeah.
need, that's just, like, a fake
Yeah.
thing that people use to make it seem like you're cleaning stuff, but yeah, it's interesting, so I'll keep you guys posted on my next dentist appointment if there's any
Cool.
improvements.
Can't wait.
Okay, and then let's quickly talk about, mouth breathing because that's a huge component. I think just start off with saying, "Don't do it." And then I think, once again, awareness is a huge piece. Like, I remember randomly, like, so long ago, I listened and I've told this story before. I listened to this podcast about, like, mouth breathing and, like, how it's so much better for you. And I was like, "Oh, I don't mouth breathe." And then I, like, just started, like, thinking about it more, and I'd be driving and, like, my mouth would be open, and I'm like, "Okay, like, maybe I'm a little bit of a mouth breather sometimes," like, and then when I sleep, like, my mouth is literally, like, if you're listening to this, like, I'm seriously, like, all night long, and so that was just, like, a big shift for me. I started to be aware of it. Now I use the mouth tape and stuff, but, um, it impacts the pH of our saliva. It, like, of our mouth. It dries out our saliva. It's, like, creates a breeding ground for just, like, that harmful bacteria that we were talking about as well, and it also impacts your facial structure, so
Yeah, I was gonna say, if you need a vain reason to not mouth breathe, you like, if you Google almost because 'cause isn't it like the evolution of humans too? We've just become more like pretty much your face, your nose, your chin, and your forehead should be, I think, in a line, right? Or should your forehead be a little bit forehead?
No, it should be like a line.
Yeah, it should be in a line, and so when I went to this organic dentist, she actually, like, took profile pictures of me like, profile view picture of me. That sounds awkward, like, she took my profile pic and uploaded it to Facebook? But a profile picture of me to, like, measure that to see, like, "Oh, okay, are you a mouth breather? Are you not?" Or whatever, but mouth breathers tend to have no chin structure, so a very, like, small chin, and then your forehead is out more, and it can even make your, like, nose bigger, so even just by mouth taping, people have seen, like, a change in their jaw structure, which is just crazy.
And that also comes back to like stress management because we tend to like breathe through our mouths when we're stressed more. So, even again, just coming back to like literally this kind of stuff can feel overwhelming. It's like, oh my God, now I have to like add all this to my routine. But it's if you're really just supporting your nervous system, which you can do by simply eating enough food, you are going to impact like all of these things too.
Oh, and one thing I just learned too is when you sleep with your mouth closed, so if you do use mouth tape, that actually activates your vagus nerve.
Really?
Mhm.
That
So,
makes
it's like a
sense.
double whammy because 'cause I'm like, I don't I'm not a mouth breather, and so I didn't really use a mouth tape for a while, but then I read that and I was like, "Well, I might as well just use it because
Since I've
double."
been pregnant, I, like, mouth breathe like, I only mouth breathe, it's so much harder, which is weird, but I think I'm just, like, getting
Yeah,
cramped up in there, and it's like,
Yeah,
can't breathe,
that makes
so
sense though.
it's definitely interesting. But yeah, it helps support nitric oxide production. It humidifies like your air, improves your oxygen delivery. So it's just really, really important. So something to be aware of, because even if you don't think you are, you might be doing it like when you're sleeping is like the big one. And so mouth taping, oh my God, on the news, they're talking about how like a study came out and mouth taping doesn't impact your oral hygiene or like your health at all. And I was so annoyed by that because I'm like,
yeah.
first of all, how long have you been doing that study? Second of all, were you doing it on people that were mouth breathing before? Because it will impact like, it's just such a blanket statement, and then there's that study that someone needs to, like, go on a run and be like, "Oh, I don't need to do that," you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm like, "Freaking
Yeah,
news."
who fricking sponsored it? Crest toothpaste? Like
Yeah, seriously, Sensodyne?
The Fluoride Council of North America? No, I'm kidding.
Mm.
LOL.
But yeah, this is so cool. I learned about nitric oxide because it's what we produce when we breathe properly. It's like when we breathe through our nose, is that you like need it for so many things in the body, which first of all, I just had no idea. It's actually wild, but your like uterine lining can't sustain a pregnancy without adequate nitric oxide. So that just like kind of blew my mind because I'm like, oh my God, how just the things that we need it for and that you only get it through like nasal breathing is just so cool.
What if this whole podcast I was just like,
Yeah.
you just heard me in the background?
I feel like I keep turning off my mic because that's literally me every podcast when you guys talk, I'm just like trying to breathe. Yeah, so let's talk about the optimal oral hygiene routine. Woo woo.
Well, if you wanna check out Unreal, actually, by the time this is posted, it'll be long lost in my feed, so never mind. But my morning routine with my oral hygiene is usually I aim to oil pull every day because when I aim to do it every day, I do it 3 times a week, which is perfect. So, yeah, usually they say 3 to 4 times a week. I don't know if it's actually bad to do it more, probably not, but you don't need to do it every single day. So, and I like to do that first, so before I tongue scrape or brush my teeth, which correct me if that's not actually right. Yeah, I think that's good. So, oil pulls. So, I just keep a jar of coconut oil right beside my tap. That's how I remember how to do it. And I'll just take a tablespoon of oil, put it in my mouth, and swish that around for like 10 minutes. I think most people are probably familiar with oil pulling, but that's literally all it is you just take a tablespoon of coconut oil and put it in your mouth and slosh it around. And then after 10 minutes or so, just spit it out. And then I go into a tongue scrape. So just a couple, get your little metal tongue scraper. You can literally get them for like $2 off Amazon. And I just scrape my tongue a couple times because that will get rid of any bacteria. And you're going to know if you need to do that because you'll have a really white tongue. But even if you don't have a really white tongue, you should still do it. And then I brush my teeth with my electric toothbrush. And then after that, I use my water pick. I actually don't floss at all. My dentist told me that I don't have to. And I do have an organic dentist. She actually said the water pick is better, but I know that's up for discussion. But I also have very tight teeth. So every time I floss, the floss literally breaks and gets stuck in between my junctures. Is that the right word? Um, and so I just use a
I
water
don't
pick. I don't
know.
floss, but I don't know if that's the best advice.
No, that's what I would say too. And
Just
then I would say, like, do you floss in the morning and the night every single day?
I
Like
do the
water
water
pick?
pick morning and night, yeah.
Yeah, I think the only difference I don't have a water pick, I just floss at night, and obviously, if you floss 2 times a day, that's amazing, but I usually just do same thing, oil pulling 3 times a week. I have heard that because it is antimicrobial, you do kinda wanna stick to 3 times a week, so what you're doing is
Perfect. So don't do it more. You'll die.
good.
Just kidding.
Yeah, you're gonna die. And then, Kira, is there anything else you do?
I'm a really, really bad girl and I use flossers in my car every day. I don't have a water pick, but I'm going to order one after this episode. But I use the Teflon coated floss picks in my car every day because that's the only way I will floss my teeth because I fucking hate flossing my teeth. So,
I hate it too. I was hanging out with this sounds so bad. I was hanging out with this guy, but no, there's a whole bunch of us hanging out. And his girlfriend was making fun of him because he's like super OCD, super clean, but this one like habit is he flosses his teeth in the shower and then he like puts his floss like over the top of the shower. And so she's like, there's like
Ew.
five like
no.
dirty floss things in my shower, but he's like so clean in every other area. But that's like a habit stack, right, you guys? So if you're like bad at it, and Kira, I used to do Zach does that too, like has the flossers in his vehicle and he just kind of flosses his teeth every time he's in the vehicle. And I do that too sometimes. Get a little Teflon in me, why not? But it's so mine are so tight that like they'll just break. So it's just annoying.
Interesting.
Yeah.
But habit stack it if you struggle because it is a friggin' struggle. It
If
takes
I
everything
had a
in me to
water pick,
water
I
pick
know
my
I
teeth.
would do it because my morning routine is I just like my teeth are really tight too, and I have those wires, so I have to like feed the thing through it, and then
Oh
like
yeah, no, you need to get a water pick.
no, I
Yeah.
need to get my wires taken out first of all.
I know, same, but I'm scared.
I got mine out and my teeth definitely opened up at the bottom a bit, but
Well, that'd be a good thing. I honestly think I need to like space out my whole upper. That's a we don't need to get into that, but yeah, that's the only thing I do. I also use like the Living Libations um swishing oil.
same, I love
So
that stuff.
yeah, it's like if I don't know, some people get I get creeped out by just like a wad of coconut hard oil going into my mouth for some reason. So the Living Libations is like already like liquid and it has a few really good essential oils, which that's also like up for debate if those are good on your teeth or not. But I love the taste of it and the feeling of it, and I'm like way more prone to actually do it.
Yeah. That was the same with me. I was
So
so
I like
grossed
it.
out about putting coconut oil in my
Tastes like
mouth.
jizz.
Oh my God, even worse.
No, I
Holy.
don't think it tastes like jizz. Coconut
That's what it,
water
like,
does.
reminds me of, to be completely honest,
Yeah.
but anyways.
But that's the thing, like, the thought of it made me, like, gag, like, putting just, like, a wad of oil in my mouth, and so that's why I got that Living Libations, but now that
Yeah.
I've kinda, like I had so much resistance to oil pulling because the whole idea of it, like, really grossed me out for some
A lot
reason,
of
but
people do.
yeah, I don't know what that is because now that I do it with the Living Libation stuff, it feels so good afterwards, but, the only other thing I'll say is the ingredient that you kind of want to swap out for your fluoride is hydroxyapatite is like the ingredient you kind of want to look for. I know Kira uses Boca, and that's like a really good brand, and that's the one I keep talking about. That's like $16 to $19, but it
Yeah,
is
I
really good.
and
Well, and,
I
like,
just
how
like it
long does a
because
tube of ta like, tube of
I
toothpaste
know, I'm like, I
last?
buy
Like,
like
7
4 a year, like, what are we
Yeah,
talking about here? $80? Like, I don't understand why everyone's so
it's like 2
I think
cents
it's
per
just like
use.
it's when the people compare it like to
Crest?
like Crest, like that's what even with inflation, it's like $8 and it's supposed to be like the best or Sensodyne, like at $9, you know what I mean? They're like, "Well, for natural stuff, like, I'm not gonna pay that much," you know what I mean? But so that's where it comes from. I'm not saying it should be the case, but, like, Matt uses so much frickin' toothpaste when he, like, brushes his teeth, it's
Yeah.
actually sickening. That's why I started getting my own because I was like, "What are we doing here? Like, you're using half the tube in one brush." It's so weird.
Oh, Matt. Oh, Matt. Are you
But
tuning
Matt
in to
loves
this
tongue
week's episode?
scraping, so that's good for him.
That's good. I gotta get Zach on that. He doesn't do much for his oral hygiene, but his teeth are so sensitive. But and then besides that, because that's very general advice, but this is even more general, is like start replenishing your minerals and focus on
Minerals,
that and
minerals,
doing all of the
minerals.
foundational stuff,
Oh my
eating more
god,
whole
sorry.
foods. What'd you say, Kira?
I hiccuped.
Oh, I didn't even hear you.
Sorry.
Um, and like focus on just feeding that good gut bacteria, essentially. So whole foods, eat the rainbow, eating prebiotic rich foods, avoiding excessive sugar, all of the fun stuff that you guys know that we talk about all of the time. But yeah, anything else?
I think that's it.
I
That's it,
think
that's
that's
all.
it. So, okay, team. Well, thanks for tuning in. And if you like this episode, let us know. If you need some recommendations for toothpaste, reach out to us and we're happy to help. And if you haven't already subscribed, you should do so because it really helps. And especially if you haven't watched us on YouTube or at least subscribed to us on YouTube, can you just please do that? Because our subscribing number is looking pretty sad and it's demotivating us.
Yeah.
So just
And
do
our
it for
views are
us,
at
even if
about
you,
20.
yeah. Okay, team. Have a good one. We'll talk to you next week. Love
Love
you.
ya.
Love ya.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for tuning in to The Wellness Effect. We're so grateful to be part of your wellness journey. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and follow us on Instagram for more tips, laughs, and real talk. We'll put all of our handles in the show notes. If you have questions or ideas for future episodes, slide into our DMs or send us an email. We'd love to hear from you. Until next time, keep creating your own wellness effect.